Of the program The Buzz, your social media program on television, is Tuesday, the 23rd of July 2019. My name is Patience Bello Kafo. I welcome you to the program this rainy Tuesday afternoon. I dare say it's been a very interesting experience getting into the studios this afternoon for my guests. Everybody has a story to tell. Welcome, everybody. I wish I can make it better, but that's the state. That's the state we live in.
We need to have, that same kind of helicopter that those wonders.
I think so. We needed it.
We move a motion that Galaxy should have Galaxy Kada.
Okay.
So that
in case of
okay.
Can have some.
Okay, and Okada.
There's go Kada.
Okay, yeah, Galaxy.
I
Okay.
think we're in the same spirit, but I was thinking like that as I was coming.
Okay, I'm sure my boss is watching and he's taking notes of everything. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, welcome viewers to the program. This is where we discuss trending issues on social media as it affects our country, Nigeria, and our lives as individuals. Before I do proper introduction of my panelists this afternoon, let's take a very quick and short commercial break. We'll come back to join us again.
Introducing new Always Cotton Soft. Its unique top sheet is as soft as cotton and gentle to your skin, offering you comfortable protection as you go about your day. New Always Cotton Soft, available in long and extra long for 250 naira only.
Thanks for joining us again. It's still Tuesday's edition of The Buzz. Joining me at the table this afternoon, I have Prince Francis Chilaka, who is the Executive Director for Kuth Foundation and is also a social and political analyst, and he's here with us today. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon,
Thank you for coming.
Afternoon, viewers.
All right. Also joining us, my friend, my brother, Great Imo Jonathan is here again. He's a media consultant and also a human development expert. He's a social and policy analyst as well, and is here today. Good afternoon, Great.
Afternoon, Pat.
Great to have you here.
Good afternoon to our viewers.
Okay, the elder at the table is here again this Tuesday. He's really a man that gladdens my heart. I don't know why, but I just always feel secure when he's here. I feel secure because I know he will always, always douse the tension, in his elderly. Yeah. I don't know about that, Great. Anyways, Mazi Chinedum Obiora is here with us this afternoon, and I dare say is one of the most articulate social analysts that I've met in my span on television. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Pat, and it's my pleasure. Great and the Prince. What a nice day today.
Yes.
Did you see the rain?
Yes.
I didn't see the rain, but I saw the traffic.
It's my pleasure being here.
Welcome, sir, to the show. All right, welcome, viewers. Remember, you're a part of the program. 0802-836-8971 is the number to use to interact via SMS only. Before we go into our discussion, let's take a quick look at what to expect on today's edition of The Buzz. good to be back. The man, Lateef Jakande, at 90. President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday felicitated with former governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakande, who turns 90 today, July 23rd, 2019. As he turns a nonagenarian, President Buhari saluted the former governor's patriotism, foresight, wisdom, and counsel, believing that he etched his name in gold for posterity by making the most out of every opportunity and should be studied and emulated by upcoming leaders. I mean, this is such exciting news. For the first time, we're not talking about killing, you know, we're actually celebrating someone who is still, who has actually, like the president said, etched his name in gold, you know, in the history of Nigeria. All right, before we dig into this, let's go and quickly take a look at Alhaji Lateef Jakande have a say on his time as governor of Lagos State. We'll be right back.
Lagos State was not very developed. And there were so many inadequacies for the state at every level. And I made it my duty to change the situation for the benefit of the people of Lagos State in very specific areas. As you know, education. Education was such that the children could not have made a success in life because once a day education, and many were kept out of it. So my very first determination and action was to establish free education at all levels. I also addressed myself to housing and then to health. And these were the high points of my policy, and by the grace of God, we made a success of it.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching The Buzz. 0802-836-8971 is still the number to use. All right, gentlemen, let's talk a bit about what we all can recall, you know, about the legacies of Alhaji Lateef Jakande. Meanwhile, as we're speaking, Buhari's ministerial list has just been sent into the studio. I don't know if we should go ahead with this before we get to Jakande. Let's put it to vote.
The list was sent to Great.
Yes.
So is it official?
Is it official? Okay. Let's take action on this. Let's keep it under wraps. Okay, I see. Okay, all right. Because before we post
that exposed it. I don't know why that was what.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the man, Lateef Jakande.
I would start by saying that Jakande is one man that cannot be thrown away when it comes to leadership and when it comes to what Lagos State has become. He set the milestone. And just like the late Sam Mbakwe of Imo State, I cannot talk of Jakande without talking of Sam Mbakwe. Because they are in the same shoes. These are people who were relentless. They had they were convinced in the fact that they believed in their people. They wanted the good for their people. And I haven't seen any governor in Lagos that has done as much as Jakonde did for Lagos.
Okay.
You know, so I honestly congratulate him, and I'm happy that the president is actually recognizing the effort of this man, you know, in turning around the fortunes of Lagos State.
Okay.
So to Lagosians, I say congratulations. To Imolites, I say congratulations. We had the same man. Unfortunately, he is gone, but his legacy lives on.
Okay. All right. While we're still extolling Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, let's take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Activate your life, be who you want to be. Yeah, yeah. Time to get active. Yes, the time is now. Now, now, now. Come on, get active. Oh, yeah. Yes, you can do it if you try.
Start an active life with the power of vegetables and fruits. Chivita Active. Be active. Do more.
From our wonderful family, meet our active triplets.
Mixology, for example, mixes well with drinks.
Then enjoy every quick meal with Slurp It Off.
And everywhere you go, there is Go-Gurt.
Packed with healthy nutrition, nourishing vitamins, power of protein, strength of calcium, revitalizing energy, Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. Hollandia yogurt, it's all good. Hollandia.
We're back. Okay, all right. Prince Chidaka already had his say, saying that his style of leadership was people-focused. Do you agree, Great?
Very, very, very true. And I can say in the history of Nigeria, there are few leaders that can be remembered for positive reasons, and he's one of them.
Wow. As
mentioned, after the likes of Zeke, Awo, and Afawa Bello, and a few others, the next set of leaders we have had that have stood out in the Nigerian history are the likes of Jakonde, Mbakwe, and very few, Sam Mbakwe, and Michael Okpara, and a few others. I mean, I can remember, but there are not many in this country. But that goes to show something, especially to this generation of leaders, that a time will come, you no longer be here. You may have made all the money you wish to make, you know, stolen enough, made built properties for yourself abroad, sent your children to school abroad. That will not be what you'll be remembered for. You'll be remembered for the positive things you did. Today, I don't think, as much as President Buhari knows an Abacha, I don't think he will have the same confidence and will be that courageous to even be eulogizing Abacha maybe at his birthday. And likewise every other person. So it is a sign. It is an example that all of us should learn from. Because a day will come, you will also be judged like Jakonde.
Wow.
What will be your own testimony? Exactly. That is the question.
Well said. Mazi Obiora.
Yeah, I think yesterday when I went through the social media, I joined in the celebration.
Okay.
And like my colleagues have said here, you bring in people like Jakonde, Sam Onlaka Mbakwe, let me read out his name, Sam Onlaka Mbakwe, the whipping governor of Imo State.
Imo State, yes.
Then you talk about Rimi of Kano. You talk about Balarebe Musa and other notable people. But what thing that interested me most on this man was he said he is happy and is grateful to God that he had opportunity to serve Lagos State. Service is key. Our leaders should understand that if you are there to serve. And he has leadership quality. Who is a leader? A leader is a person, by my elementary definition, who has influence to lead others. He had it. Most of the streets in Lagos, most of the buildings in Lagos were constructed under his watch. And they were not sold to people, unlike what you are seeing today. So, Pajakonde, I think, kudos, more grace, and the Lord will give you the grace and enablement to see your 100 years.
Wow.
Because when we talk about leadership, these are the people that fought the democracy we are seeing today, and he has been maintaining that quality. I think we need to celebrate him. For the president to acknowledge the fact that he was, like my friend said, he said, you must be remembered by what you have done. When time goes, you will, whether good or bad, you must be remembered. Today we are remembering this man, that he took Lagos to the next level. Not the present next level we are talking about. The Lord will increase. The Lord will give him the grace. Because he paid the price of leadership.
Yes.
He paid the price of peace. Because peace has price to pay. God bless you, sir.
Okay. Anyways, Alhaji Lateef Jakande, was known for progressive policies in education and health, which culminated in the establishment of Lagos State University and general hospitals in Bagada and Ikorodu, and also health centers that catered for the poor and the underprivileged. He was people-focused once again. Anyways, quick facts to note about Alhaji Lateef Jakande as he's being celebrated all over today. He was born on the 23rd of July 1929 in Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island in Lagos State, obviously. He was a journalist who became the governor of Lagos State from 1979 to 1983. In 1949, Jakande began a career in journalism, first with Daily Times newspapers before he joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953, where he was appointed editor-in-chief by the publisher then, Obafemi Awolowo. Jakande established John West Publications and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, as well as providing free primary and secondary education. As a governor, he established 23 local government councils, which were later disbanded by the military. After the military takeover in the year 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason, although he was later pardoned. After being freed, he accepted the position of Minister of Works under the late Sani Abacha military regime, which earned him some criticisms. Anyways, he later claimed he had accepted the post under pressure from the late MKO Abiola and other progressive leaders. From all of us here, we wish the respected nonagenarian, wow, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakande, happy birthday and many, many, many more years, okay, of good health. And of course, he's a shining example for other leaders.
We join in celebration.
Of course. Let's move it along. Shiite members clash with men of the Nigerian police once again in Abuja. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, also known as Shiites, have clashed with the officers of the Nigerian police during a protest which took place in Abuja yesterday. The Shiite members engaged the police in a gun battle after attempts made by the security agents to stop them from taking their protest to the National Assembly. Sadly, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Umar Bebel, was killed in the gun battle, and also a corps member, 7 with Channels Television, also died. He was shot in the stomach. He was just 23 years old. Very unfortunate. Anyways, let's go and see this clip of the protest yesterday. All right, welcome back. Before we go to the Shiite story, some messages are coming in on the Lateef Jakonde story. Let's quickly take a couple before we move on. Lawrence Ugo Unwagodo says, just last week I described Alhaji Lateef Jakonde as the best public office holder since Nigeria became independent. I thank God for his life and wish him many more years. Thank you, Lawrence, for that. Daddy Jakonde was a leader par excellence. Happy birthday, sir. Eze from Ikotun sent that one. This one is asking, please, under which military regime was Pa Jakonde jailed? 1983.
Yeah.
That was
now you call the name.
Now you call the name. We don't know the name.
Okay, Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, as is popularly called, is a great leader in all areas of his checkered career as an achiever, especially in the educational system in Lagos State. Congratulations from Shogbe Ike in Lokoja. Thank you for that. Let's push it along. I just say that I'm also a beneficiary of the Jakonde free education. Let me just put that forward.
Congrats.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I'm also one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Honestly, his free education was free,
it
but
was
not free of knowledge.
It was free indeed.
Free
Yeah.
education.
Okay.
Serious.
So let's talk about this another clash by the Shiite members and the police. Penultimate week. We discussed at this table, you know, when they broke into the NAS complex, you know, and destroyed some things. Last week, we also talked about yet another protest. Here we are again, another week. This time around, 6 people died from this tussle yesterday.
Official figure.
Yeah, yes, official figure. 6 people, and also a deputy commissioner of police was also shot, I think, twice in the head or so. He's late too, and he has been buried anyway because he's a Muslim.
And a journalist.
Yes, and a young 23-year-old youth copper with Channels Television. Okay, this looks like it's not going to end soon, because every week there's a new angle to this. Is what the Shiite members calling for, is it even justifiable in the first place?
Well, I think I need to say this first, and I hope people won't get offended, but what is happening right now in Abuja with this Shiite is what people in Kaduna and its environment have had to cope with and live with in the last few years. It's unfortunate that IPOB was prescribed by government, people who didn't destroy anything, people who didn't even carry sticks to fight government. And then I keep asking myself, why has government found it difficult to take decisive action on Boko Haram, on herdsmen, and now on the Shiite? Let us also go back history a little bit. We will understand how Boko Haram started. It started like this. When the leader was arrested, imprisoned, and died on his way to Abuja. Is it that we want a repetition of that? I think this is what I think this government should do. I keep saying that the problem of this country lies between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. If the courts have granted their leader bail, if he has met the bail condition, the government should release him.
For peace.
For peace to reign.
Okay.
But we must also understand, like they would say, national security comes in front of whatever court ruling. But that ruling of the court needs to be evacuated. It needs to be evacuated so that people will understand that he is not being held against the court judgment.
Okay.
So let them evacuate it.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from someone else now. Now, great. Already since yesterday, the president has started considering proscribing the Shiite movement. There are talks about it. Actually, it's going to come in form of an executive order. Now, already we're citing the Terrorism Prevention Act. Does that apply to what is on ground here, considering the fact that the members of this group are actually calling for the release of their leader who is being held against the court injunction?
Well, honestly, this is a complex situation if we really think seriously about it. Why is it complex? Number one, remove the fact that the crisis we're having is crisis of religious ideology between the Sunnis and Shiites, somewhat. But the Shiites have over 5 million or close to 5 million members in Nigeria. A population that is larger than some countries of the world. So when you remove the religious factor first, you are dealing with Nigerians to start with. A population that should be useful for the progress and development of Nigeria. But it must be noted here that these ideologies that are creating fundamental problems were literally imported. As is noted now, it appears we are engaging in proxy war in Nigeria. What is happening between the Saudis and the Iranians are beginning to find their footing in Nigeria. That is why it's complex. Because the Sunni Muslims have their affiliation with Arabians, while the Shiites have theirs with the Iranians. But all of them are Muslims, so there's an ideological crisis that has snowballed into social issue in Nigeria now. But going forward, these people have not conducted themselves in a way and manner over a period of time that should make anybody respect them. That has been the problem. For example, in 2015, I think December 12, when they accosted the chief of army staff, that was the beginning of this crisis. But I think what we had then was a social issue, but now it's transmitting into a criminality. We are dealing with something more fundamental now. When that thing happened, it required some kind of wisdom, because we are dealing with human beings, human lives. So whether it was 350 or 1,000, the number that was disputed that was killed that time, it was literally uncalled for. Though we wouldn't tolerate that any movement, any religious institution, or even any kind of human being should have stopped the movement of the chief of army staff in any guise. So that was condemnable, and that was what gave them away. Are you getting me?
Yes, I am.
But thereafter, there has been court orders asking that he should be released with his wife and be relocated to any northern states. And then that should be done within a period of 45 days. But we did not obey that court order. Now,
it's been 4 years.
Yeah, since 4 years now. I must say that without prejudice or sympathy to the Shiite, one of the fundamental reasons why nations came into crisis is because when rules of engagements are not obeyed. I don't even care if we like this Al-Zazaki of a guy, but we must also learn to obey the rule. Because what makes society functional is the rule. That's why the fundamental for society growth is what? There must be what? Law.
Rule
and
of law.
order. There must be structure before there can be establishment.
Okay.
If you don't have all these fundamentals, society cannot move forward.
Okay.
So the thing is that because of this denial, these people have been frustrated, and the tendencies that already exist within them are coming out. But my point is that we should be careful because dealing with the sentiment and emotions of indoctrinated population of up to 3 million people is a big issue. The other day, I was coming to have a meeting at a hotel very close to ShopRite. As I was walking down, I saw a guy carrying some of these boxes that shoemenders used to carry. But this guy was a different kind of shoemender. The way he was walking like a soldier and he was hitting that, he was reciting something.
So you got scared.
I know. I stood back. I said, no. Take a look. There's something going on. Some of them are spreading. This one is spreading. This is not the brand of shoemenders from northern hemisphere that we used to know. This guy looked different from every shoemaker.
Okay.
He took a walk of a distance, hitting that until I disappeared from the scene.
Okay.
What am I saying? We should be careful to manage this thing. What we require now is not political correctness. We require wisdom.
Okay.
In dealing with it, all sides.
All right, talking about wisdom, let's bring Mazi Obiora into this discussion. How do you see, this relentless, protest week after week by the Shiite members?
Pat, let me tell you one thing. Yesterday, I shared with my people in the church the consequences of disobedience. And what we have seen now has been the result of disobedience.
Okay.
Whether disobedient to the rule of law or disobedient to God's own injunction. This particular man has been granted bail with his wife. A court of competent jurisdiction has said, release him, relocate him. He destroyed his house, destroyed everything he had, including his wife. You heard them, and his followers are now saying, look at this. But the question you should ask me is this: how were they gathered? I was told that they are up to 3,000 members. Who equipped them? How did they? And I read they said the ammunition was sophisticated, heavy sophistication. Where did they get it? And we have been asking, and nobody has been able to give us an answer. This Boko Haram of a people, these herdsmen going about with AK-47, how did they get it? Who trained them? Now, you are talking about these people. You must pay the price, the consequence of disobeying either the rule of the land with this. We are entering into anarchy. And imagine if these people can muster that courage and such number, what about the Niger Delta people, the militant in the creek, and they also threatening? And the Obasanjo wrote a letter. Let us come together and discuss this issue. Security is key. And you said, blah, 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 blah. What we are going to experience now, the evil is slaying the wicked. They will continue. But my prayer is this: it is only the innocent people are suffering it. Look at that channel's reporter, whatever, an innocent young girl. Look at the deputy commissioner of police died, and so many other people unreported. So are we still going to fold our hands and be looking at these things? Are we going to? You talk about the president considering, he's considering now. IPOB, it didn't take him up to 1 month. Even though the international community said these people are not terrorists, they are angry agitators. But these people, you see how they muster courage, strength and everything. They enter into the hollow chambers. And today, they muster also courage to the seat of power, killing people, demonstrating. There will be more protests.
Wow.
God help us.
All right. I was saying, I said, and I asked before. Let me ask once again. Yesterday, the president convened a meeting with security chiefs, and it was decided at that meeting that this group, the Shiite group, should be declared an illegal organization.
Is it now they are working
in Nigeria? Is that going to solve anything?
Patience,
I asked that question before.
Patience. Thank you for that question. But see, like I would say this, and I'll say it, and I'm looking straight into the camera, and I'm telling Mr. President, you have failed this nation security-wise.
And I join my own voice.
Let us say it the way it is. Please, let us say this thing the way it is. Let us not paint issues. When it was time to proscribe IPOB, it was not difficult for the snake.
Well,
and
Prince Chilaka, I don't want us to bring sentiment.
I'm not bringing the sentiment.
No,
I'm not bringing the sentiment. I'm making a point. There's no sentiment. What I'm trying to say is that if the president had the wisdom to cut this problem when it started in the southeast, why is it that they're finding it difficult?
All right, you are saying this should have been done long ago.
Okay, now
let me hear you, Grace.
Okay. They are not one and the same. Let me explain it.
Go ahead, quickly.
For your information, it's important that you know that President Buhari is a Sunni Muslim. And he's dealing with Shia Muslim. There's ideological issues here, unlike when we had this ethnic secessionist agenda. They are two different things. As much as they look like all kind of this, the agendas are different. So in handling it, sometimes it requires wisdom. You can actually ban that particular organization, but I doubt if you can ban Shia Islam in Nigeria, because it is a religion. It's like saying Pentecostals and Orthodox. Are you getting me?
I get that.
In Nigeria, it's like you can say, oh, so Jesus is coming again and has gone again, assembly is banned because of the activities like Reverend King. But you cannot ban Pentecostalism. Shia Islam is a brand of Islam. And also in handling, you must know that President Buhari is from the other side of Islam. So you must be sensitive in handling. So I can say, ban the organization, but not share Islam. Because any other person may believe in share, ideology of Islam.
Without necessarily
belonging to us.
I get that.
Okay.
So all right,
Great. I've listened to you. If you are saying that the president is taking his time, watching, until everybody is killed.
No, that is not what I said. No.
Now,
you are misquoting me. Let me correct that. I said it's a sensitive matter. I did not say
agreed.
Because he's on the other side of
that. Okay,
go ahead.
Why can't we say the president? Look at the messages we are conveying. Look at the agitation. Do that which is right before God and man. Release these people and let us know whether there is peace in the land. Okay, but you have refused.
No, let me even come, even though Patience would say I'm being sentimental and all.
No, you are not being.
Let me put it this way. When Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, the court granted him bail and they refused to release him. Did people go on protest? Did they kill press people? Nobody was killed. Why would people wake up from sleep because you believe you are promoting one religion and you go beside
and everybody's sleeping?
No, that is not acceptable.
And everybody's sleeping.
Anybody that comes out to say that it is proper or that the president is being careful because he's a Muslim,
has
not
failed.
I didn't say he's being careful because he's a Muslim.
No, you're not being
We have been calling for it.
Okay.
No, we are here. It's important. I correct this impression.
In 10 seconds,
Sorry,
go
please.
ahead.
Don't say that I said Mr. President being careful because he's a Muslim. I never said so.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Because these are the impressions we give that makes it look like we are discussing, we are being religiously biased.
I get what you said. When you said
it's a sensitive issue.
There must be a balance.
It is
When you
sensitive.
govern a nation, you don't apply sentiment. There is a lot of balancing of thought that needs to take place before
Very
you
true.
can take this.
Yeah, you are bringing the balance to it.
Meanwhile, Shiite leader El Zakazaki and his wife, according to court documents that are made available to the public, are currently suffering from metal poisoning. The metal poisoning is caused by the gunshot pellets in their body system, from the very first incident where they accosted men of the Nigerian army. Anyways, quickly, gentlemen, because our time is fast running, let us talk a bit about the conduct of the Nigerian police so far in all of these clashes. I'll start with you, Mazio Biora. How would you say the police have actually handled this issue?
Yeah, they tried as per their ability. In the first place, were they adequately prepared, equipped? Have you seen a policeman chasing an armed robber?
When you say equipped, what do you mean? Do they have guns?
Do they
have ammunition?
Yes, the ammunition they have, the guns they have. Can you compare it to the type sophistication of these people are having?
Would you advise Mazio Obiora that the police carry guns to face protesters?
They cannot carry guns that will match to the ones these people are carrying. They will run for their lives. Life is sweet. These people, their welfare is not taken into consideration. Their families, when something happens, they run away. So what I'm trying to say is that our policemen that are supposed to take care of this internal protests are not properly equipped. Logistics, they are not there. Training, they are not there. The welfare is not there. So they must be very careful. Look, I've seen a policeman, when you report to a policeman that armed robbers are here, he will run away. And the next question will be, if I die now, what will the government do to? So let me bring it home. The responsibility of protection lies in the hand of the police. But unfortunately, who guides the guard? Nobody. So they are not properly equipped. They are not properly trained. They are not properly taken care of. And that is why they fear for their life, because life is sweet.
Okay, great. 10 seconds.
Well, I want to say number one is that we must appreciate the effort so far of the Nigerian police, but they are still lagging behind in terms of tact, in terms of skill. For example, policing is not only about being reactionary to events. You need to have such an organization. Ab initio, you should have infiltrated them. You would have been having security reports. You should have been
to know when they are conveying,
when you need
what
to
they are
bring
going
them,
to do. Okay.
Intelligence on them.
Okay.
Over time, before they snowball into something crisis.
Okay.
But now that also the crisis have happened, we can see what is happening in Hong Kong. The use of live ammunition was really not encouraging.
Okay.
Because it was not the first time it was used. When the military attempted to handle it the first time, that was when we started radicalizing these people. And again, you couldn't have allowed these people to come into the city center, knowing that they were coming from outskirts of Abuja, from different states. You could have shut them out from the major city center and handled their case over there. Because if you created a barricade maybe from the airport zone or from the Marabas zone, you would have had less effect on the city center, and this will require professional thinking before you engage. Okay. And these are the areas we are lagging behind. Our police is trying, but there's still a lot more they can do.
Okay. Are you sure there are not saboteurs among them?
Well,
all right, Prince Chilaka.
It's a simple thing. I want to ask the Nigerian police, how come we don't have water guns, water tank? There's this special tank for water that spreads hot water during riots. How come we don't have it? How come the Nigerian police do not have intelligence gathering? Patients ask the question, how did they gather? Who gathered them? This protest was well planned and well executed. We should be asking questions. Who gave them arms? How did they get these arms? It brings me back to ask the former governor of Ogun State, Amosu, the 1,000 guns, AK-47 guns that he sent to the police. How many of it was brought into the country? And we have all kept quiet. How many of that guns were brought in? How was it brought in?
All right, so because of our time.
Yes, I know. These are issues that we should be asking. How do they get these guns? Government should begin to become proactive in terms of intelligence gathering so that they know the source of these guns, because it doesn't really add up that people coming on protest have guns with them and they ended up killing
sophisticated guns.
And ended up killing a police officer. And everybody's, keeping quiet about it.
Okay, because our time is almost up. Yesterday, President Buhari convened a meeting with security chiefs at the State House. And, of course, it was concluded that the Shiite group should be declared an illegal organization in Nigeria. They are citing the Terrorism Prevention Act to ban the Shiite movement. The law was introduced, if we recall, under Goodluck Jonathan's regime, then to proscribe Boko Haram as a terrorist organization. Meanwhile, Amnesty International blames the Nigeria police for the bloody Shiite protest yesterday, because they claim that the police used guns against Shiite members protesting unarmed.